Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is the Rock and Roll Spot Connection with a weekly TV roundup. We're going to kick things off with last week's episode of Arrow, which opens with Ollie training in Nana Parbat, as he is basically brainwashed more and more into becoming Al Sahim. After the training montage, Raish tells Ollie of an old acquaintance of his named Damien Dark, whom Raish hesitated to kill long ago. He explains further that Dark has unknowingly become a thorn in Ollie's side, basically hinting that Dark is in charge of the Hive. Raish then gives Ollie his first mission: kill a potential usurper, which is what Dark was to Ra's al Ghul all those years ago. In Starling City, after a night of on-the-job training, Laurel tells Nyssa that Ollie has accepted Raish's offer, which infuriates Nyssa. Later, Ollie arrives in Starling City with the League, meaning to kill the potential usurper, Nyssa. Nyssa goes to confront Ollie, and Laurel and Diggle follow. While Nyssa and Ollie fight, they're being first watched by Diggle and Laurel, and then they are interrupted just before Ollie would in fact actually kill Nyssa. Laurel manages to get Nyssa away from Ollie and later tries to convince her not to go after him again. Thea gets confirmation from Merlin that Ollie is in town with plans to kill Nyssa. In order to draw Nyssa out, Ollie kidnaps Diggle's wife, Lila. Nyssa agrees to turn herself over to the League in exchange. At the exchange, Felicity tries to get through to Ollie and, fails. Team Arrow attacks the League as Felicity has snuck in a pair of guns for Lila to use. But Nyssa is still taken by the League, and Ollie nearly kills Diggle until Thea puts an arrow through his arm. In Nanda Parbat, Ollie is told to marry Nyssa rather than kill her, as a means of joining Ollie, the bloodlines of Ollie and Ra's al Ghul. Later, Ra's tells Ollie that he must unleash the Alpha Omega virus upon Starling City, which, of course, Ra's is in possession of. Flashback. The Alpha Omega virus has been released in Hong Kong. Ollie, Maseo, and Tatsu try to escape with Maseo and Tatsu's son, but as they're leaving, the boy begins to show signs of exposure to the virus. Moving on to this week's episode of Flash. Opens with Barry running through Central City while Iris narrates about the secrets that friends keep. At the forensics lab, Iris tells Barry about Eddie's kidnapping and that she's having trouble trusting the Flash at the moment. Central City's gold reserve is attacked by a masked gunman. During the attack, both Barry and the gunman are attacked mentally. After returning to Star Labs, Barry is explaining what happened when Iris walks in. Later on, the gunman attacks another gold shipment, this time guarded by the police, and is stopped by Barry. Joe unmasks the gunman, revealing him to be none other than General Eiling. At Star Labs, the crew question Eiling, who claims to not be Eiling, but rather Grodd, leading to Caitlin telling Barry and Joe about Grodd, a test subject that Wells and Eiling worked on 5 years previous that disappeared after the particle accelerator exploded. Barry, Joe, and Cisco go into the sewers to look for Grodd. Grodd, however, finds them and kidnaps Joe. Joe wakes up in Grodd's lair and discovers that Grodd is in fact telepathic. Wells tells Eddie a little bit about his future. Barry goes after Grodd, this time with a headpiece that will block telepathy. Barry tries to hit Grodd with a supersonic punch, but Grodd catches his fist, leading to a fight between the two of them. During which the headpiece is knocked off as Barry is thrown through a wall into a subway tunnel. and Iris speaks to Barry over the communication, the comm device, and manages to pull him through the telepathic attack from Grodd, just in time for Barry to avoid being hit by a subway train. The fight then ends with Grodd jumping out at Barry and getting hit himself by a subway train. Back at Star Labs, General Eiling releases his brain scans show no signs of telepathic influence. Eiling tells Barry that Wells was the one who turned him over to Grodd, and that the two of them have a mutual enemy. Iris mends fences with Joe, and later on Barry. Cisco, Caitlin, and Barry conclude that Joe was right that Wells used Grodd, who is revealed to still be at large, as a diversion. And Wells reveals to Eddie that he's found the key to going home before entering the particle accelerator. Alright, moving on to this week's Gotham, the season finale. Opens with Fish Mooney returning to Gotham as Selina looks on, amongst others. The next morning, Bruce is looking throughout the study for his father's secret, and also Falcone is attacked. At the hospital, Penguin tells Falcone that he was behind the gang war and almost kills Falcone until Gordon arrives and arrests both Penguin and Butch for attempted murder, before freeing Falcone and getting into a shootout with some of Maroni's men. Bullock arrives and helps Gordon as well and Falcone escape. Upon arriving and since Gordon arrested them, they take Butch and Penguin with them. Upon arriving at a warehouse of Falcone's, the group is set upon by Fish's new gang, which includes Selina. Fish makes a deal with Maroni for her old territory in exchange for Falcone's head. Fish declares that Penguin and Falcone will die slowly. Barbara starts to go through trauma therapy with Dr. Tompkins. Maroni arrives at the warehouse and makes arrangements for the future with Fish, who shoots Maroni dead. In the chaos, Bullock saves Falcone and Gordon. Penguin also manages to escape. Crafty little bastard. Once outside, Falcone tells Gordon that he's done and is retiring before Selina recaptures the group. Falcone tells Fish he means to retire, but is interrupted by Penguin firing on Fish's gang. Barbara reveals to Dr. Tompkins that it was not the ogre who killed her parents, but rather her. And then she tries to kill Dr. Tompkins. The good doctor puts up quite the fight and manages to knock Barbara unconscious. At least it seemed that she was at least unconscious. At the warehouse, Penguin and Fish confront each other on the roof. Butch intercedes and shoots both of them. Penguin knocks out Butch and then pushes Fish off the roof. Penguin then declares himself the king of Gotham. After a discussion with Miss Kringle, Nigma begins to lose it even more. And basically begins to develop his psychosis of committing crimes and having a riddle planning a crime and having a riddle to give a hint as to where the crime is, where the crime will be. Falcone gives Gordon his knife, which was actually a gift to Falcone many years ago from Gordon's father. Bruce finally discovers his father's secret: a cave underneath the manor. Now, moving on to this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the penultimate episode of the season. Opens with Coulson and Koenig touring the Theta Protocol facility 1 year ago, which it turns out contains the old helicarrier. In the present, Coulson suggests combining both shields with him as director and Gonzalez as an advisor. Back in Afterlife, Raina has accepted her visions as a gift and tells Gordon and Jiaying of a dream she had, leading Gordon to take Raina to the location of a Kree item, which turns out to be Gonzalez's secret cargo. This encounter leads to S.H.I.E.L.D. finding a way to track Gordon's teleportation, as well as them planning to attack, which Coulson objects to. It's decided that instead of an attack, however, they will have a sit-down and hopefully gaining a group of allies. Raina tells Gordon of a vision she's had of Quinjets attacking Afterlife and convinces Gordon to try to keep Jiaying out of the loop. Later, Gordon returns Lincoln and Sky to Afterlife. Sky suggests a sit-down between Jiaying and Coulson. At the base, the council decides that it should be Gonzalez who meets with Jiaying rather than Coulson, as they feel that Coulson is not always objective when dealing where Sky is concerned. May and Bobby leave to scout ahead, and Mac resigns from S.H.I.E.L.D. Jiaying and Cal discuss S.H.I.E.L.D., and Cal opts to be turned over to S.H.I.E.L.D. as a show of good faith. May reveals herself to Bobby to be Agent 33, and attacks Bobby for betraying her back while both were undercover. Once the Quinjet motor in lands, Bobby, having subdued Agent 33, excuse me, Bobby disembarks only to be shot by Ward. Jiaying confines Raina for trying to manipulate pretty much everyone in Afterlife. When Gonzalez arrives to be with Jiaying, Sky is tasked with delivering Cal to the other agents that came with Gonzalez. Jiaying and Gonzalez discuss S.H.I.E.L.D.'s plans, as well as the Index, especially the Index. Jiaying then uses an artificially made Terrigen crystal to petrify Gonzalez before using Gonzalez's pistol to shoot herself in order to rally the rest of the humans at Afterlife against S.H.I.E.L.D. Ward and Agent 33 bind Bobby and take the Quinjet to fulfill their plans. That's it. Now, moving on to this week's episode of Game of Thrones. Opens with Jorah stealing a fisherman's boat to take Tyrion to the Queen. And while en route to Dorne, Jaime and Bronn discuss their plans for when they actually get there. In King's Landing, Cersei sends Mace Tyrell to Braavos to negotiate with the Iron Bank. Later, Cersei arms the Faith Militant, an army that answers to the High Septon, and names the High Sparrow as the High Septon. Soon thereafter, the Faith Militant attack all quote-unquote sinners in King's Landing, including Sir Loras, King Tommen's brother-in-law. Tommen tries to speak to the High Sparrow, but is turned away by the Faith Militant as the High Sparrow is praying. At the Wall, Jon and Melisandre discuss Stannis' pending attack on Winterfell, and Melisandre makes an attempt to seduce Jon, which fails. Partially because Jon is, even though the woman he had is dead, he's still in love with her. As she leaves, Melisandre says to Jon Snow that he knows nothing. At Winterfell, Sansa lights candles in the crypt and says goodbye to Littlefinger, who's been summoned back to King's Landing. Near Dorne, Jaime and Bronn make landfall, as well as their way to Sunspear. Along the way, the pair encounter a Dornish patrol, which is swiftly dispatched. Elsewhere in Dorne, Oberyn's daughters decide to bring war upon the Lannisters. Tyrion finally learns his destination as Marine and the identity of his captor, Jorah Mormont. In Marine, the Sons of the Harpy faced Grey Worm, a squad of Unsullied, and Ser Barristan, and it appears that none survive the encounter on either side. And that's it for this week's TV Roundup. We'll be back on Thursday with another marvelous May video. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Social media links are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off. Live long and rock hard.